What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Copper, YouTube's #1 couch detective. And today, I'm going to be going over this mass shooting that happened in Michigan State. And there's been so many mass shootings in the past couple years that you tend to lose track and lose count. Because it seems like every week, there's some sort of mass shooting or killing in mass. It used to be unprecedented. Now it's something that's just normal and seems like weekly. And for the parents of these students, Ariel Diamond Anderson, Brian Frazier, Alexandria Verner, they'll be asking real questions of who and why. Just like when you watch a murder mystery show and you ask the questions. Who and why? Now, the parents will get one answer. They already got one answer, and that's who. And the who is Anthony McRae. But I guarantee you, they'll never, ever, ever get the real reason why. Now, Anthony McRae, they say he suffered from mental illness, which all these mass shooters, if you notice, all suffer from mental illness. Now, when I was growing up, I was able to live in different cities, some different states. And no matter where I lived, there was always a couple crazy people. He might have been over there eating cat food. He might have flashed his genitals. He might have painted his head green. Yeah, he might have skateboarded with a trench coat in 100-degree weather. But one thing I will say, those people never turned into mass serial shooters. Nowadays, it seems like all of these type of people are becoming mass killers. Now, I've covered almost every mass shooting here in the recent, I would say last year and a half. And one thing that I'm starting to connect the dots on is that all of these guys have social media. But when there's a mass shooting, you never get to see it. You never get to see who they're in contact with, what they're posting, what they're liking, what videos they like. You never get to see none of these things on their social media, which I said in the other video covering Brian Kohlberger, the killer that killed up in them Idaho State students, that when these people post certain things, the algorithms can pick it up. Because if you have, say you have 20 serial killers, 20 mass shooters, and they all post it, you can make a correlation over time. And you think the algorithms can't do that? You're a goddamn fool. You lying to me. They said that Anthony McRae woke up one day, decided to go down to Michigan State and start killing people for absolutely no reason. Is that possible? Yes. How likely is it? Very unlikely. But I always leave room that I can be wrong. Maybe that's exactly what happened. But I doubt it very seriously. Because all of these mass shooters all have mental health issues. That mean they all dealt with some kind of psychiatrist and they was dealing with some kind of medication. So that leaves you to ask the question of what kind of medication was they on? Who was the doctors? What are the doctors treating? What's their treatment methods? Because the reason why I asked that, because I know people like, what's the guy name who was doing all of the mass killings back in the 60s? Had the swastika on his head. Damn, his name escapes me. But he was part of a CIA op. I can't think of this guy's name to save my fucking life right now. Charles Manson. I'm sorry. Charles Manson was part of CIA ops. How did they find that out? Because the same doctor that was part of the MK Ultra programming was his psychiatrist. People that find this shit out to like the 70s and 80s, this shit start to come out in documents. So one of the first mass killers in the United States, I mean, as far as like just what they made it out to be a random killer, turned out he was part of a CIA psych op where they were using all type of psychedelic drugs and testing them and using them on people and seeing can they use mind control to get people to kill people. This is a fact. This is not my opinion. I'm not giving you guesswork on this one. But Charles Manson was part of that. He was a Luciferian. Jim Jones, Luciferian. All these people come from the Process Church. All of these people are part of these programs. Now, in this, and I'm going to go over these videos right quick, but let me say this before I start the video. When they ask these people the questions about what do you do, they never say we need to deal with the mental health issue. They say let's deal with the gun issue. Well, if you skip over that and you leave the mental health issue, then you're going to still have the same problem. People find another way to kill. If what they saying is true, it's just mental health. But it's not. This is where I'm assuming. This is where I'm putting on my Negro Damas cap. My tinfoil kufi. This is where I put that on. I don't think that is that. This is, all this shit is being made to happen allegedly to get these guns out of people's hands. But we're going to take a look at these videos. They say MSU shooting questions remain. How did shooter with previous record get a gun? Let's take a look.
Well, tell you what, Terry, I really think that we have more questions than answers, unfortunately, although we tried. We looked at the shooter's background. We also looked at this weird development about this note in his pocket that has something to do with New Jersey. That's one issue.
And as you can see, after the next day, after they find the man at the end, shot himself in the head allegedly, they find a note in his pocket.
The other issue is that some of the people that are policymakers are now using this to call for perhaps more laws regarding guns. Take a look.
You see what I mean? They skip right over the mental health issues and they go right to the guns. Right to the guns. Because the guns is not the problem. United States have always had some crazy goddamn people. It's always been like that. We've always had some nut jobs, lunatics, psychos, but they was rarely, I would say almost never a mass shooter. What has changed?
We cannot keep living like this.
The governor nearly crying at a Tuesday morning press conference over the senseless shooting of 8 Michigan State students at the hands of 43-year-old Anthony McRae.
President Biden and I spoke last night. He pledged his support and the thoughts of an entire nation.
And it may take the full...
And let me tell you why they're going through all these laws and trying so hard to get these guns out of people's hands. Because they know the first thing they have to do is get the guns out of the white boys' hands. If they can pry them guns out of the white boys' hands, then everybody else is easy work. But the white boy, he's holding on to these guns at all fucking costs because he knows once he relinquished that shit, he's finished.
Weight of law enforcement to figure out why this man with no ties to Michigan State University went on a shooting rampage. Maybe some answers. Anthony moved in with his father after his mother died. Mother and father, super nice, God-loving people.
Yes.
And then...
Well, he come from a home of hoarders. I don't know if it was like that when the mother was alive, but the father house, that's a hoarder's house. Let's take a look again.
Senseless shooting of 8 Michigan State students at the hands of 43-year-old Anthony McRae.
President Biden and I spoke last night. He pledged his support and the thoughts of an entire nation.
And it may take the full weight of law enforcement to figure out why this man with no ties to Michigan State University went...
They said it might take the full weight of the law enforcement. That's a goddamn lie. If you give me access to his goddamn social media and his goddamn computer history, I can tell you why he did what he did.
The shooting rampage. maybe some answers. Anthony moved in with his father.
As you can see, this house is just hoarded with all type of shit in the back. I mean, you got campers and old sheds and fucking pieces of boats and pieces of trucks and pieces of every goddamn. It look like a meth head's playground back there.
After his mother died. Mother and father, super nice, God-loving people.
Yes.
And then we read about the son doing this.
He said that the mother and father, super nice, God-loving people. How the hell do you know what these parents are? We don't know what kind of childhood this young man had. He had mental issues. We don't know what's going on. For him to make that assumption, that is a hell of a stretch and a hell of a leap to a conclusion, which really makes my Negro spidey senses go off.
Does that make sense?
None at all.
But after Monday's rampage, Anthony started the 5-mile walk back to his home. But when he was confronted by police, he turned the gun on himself. But this, in his pocket, a note threatening to harm 2 schools in New Jersey?
The shooter had local ties, that he was a previous resident, it appears, of Ewing Township, and may have suffered some mental illness.
The schools were closed, but the threat was determined not to be real. And then, in 2019, Anthony was charged with possession of a firearm. He took a plea and did a month and a...
As you can see, here's his bookend where they booked him in, and you can see all of these black male, brown eyes, 5'4", 165 pounds, a little guy. Yeah, but we don't know what his childhood was. That's a hell of a reach to say how his parents was good people, God free. You don't know that. Shit.
half on probation. Yet.
The neighbors called the cops on him. Well, it was like over the summer because he was shooting.
And I'm going to ask this question. This white lady here, she has a cat shirt on. And I think the cat is for like the caterpillar. It could be for the tractor's caterpillar, but she does look like a cat lady. What kind of grown-ass woman who's in her damn 50s has purple hair? She looks like a witch. I could be wrong, but she got cat and she got witch hair. I don't know. But these old people with this colored hair, it makes you scratch your head. Like, why in the fuck you got your hair purple? And why you got a cat shirt on, cat lady?
Firearms out of the back door of the house.
But Anthony never really warmed up to the neighbors.
Then he shot himself. Then he did not make it home because who knows what would have happened if he came home.
That's true. You never know what could have happened.
Now home is here. It's right behind me. This is where Anthony lived. He lived with his father after his mother died. Anthony moved in with his father. Now some media outlets are reporting that the father said that Anthony was troubled because he was very close to his mother. We tried to talk to the father, Michael, but he's been inside his house and he just hasn't come out. So
you telling me? I'm not sure about this. I'm wondering, did the police raid the home and search the home and do everything that they normally do? I'm telling you, I don't know this because I haven't seen this part, but if they didn't raid that home, God damn it, that's a dead giveaway. We know that's the first thing they do. They talk about we ain't seen the father. How the fuck you ain't seen the father? How the fuck you ain't seen? Did at least the police seen him, or did they just knock on the door, ask a few questions, and turn around? I don't know. But you have to ask that. If they didn't raid that home, goddamn, common sense would have to kick in for you.
We'd like to get a little more answers. Maybe we can do that. And that's why this investigation by the police, by the authorities, is continuing. We'll try to get those answers. Taryn?
Well, you mentioned his gun charge in the past, Charlie. Do we know if there were stricter laws, red flag laws in place, if this would have prevented the individual from even getting a gun?
Well, probably not. This was in 2019. It was a plea deal. He was charged with possession of a gun. He couldn't have it. He didn't have a license for it. So that was it was a felony. And he did a year and a half of probation, but he apparently completed it. He's been off probation now for better than a year. And there's been no problems. Now, as you heard, though, some of the neighbors say that he likes to shoot guns in the back over here. But again, no police reports were made, and apparently he was allowed to do that. At least there were no criminal problems with that. So again, still more questions. We don't have the complete profile. We're going to work on it because the police.
I will say this: that backyard looked like a shoot house. It looked like some shit where the FBI or the CIA or some kind of military group would practice on going to some kind of meth barn. And I mean. This shit is a mess. Like I said, the parents will never get all the answers. But we do have another video, body cam video shows MSU shooting suspect in 2019 arrest. So we're gonna actually get to hear him speak. We're gonna get to see some of his body language and get to see some of his demeanors and see if us couch detectives can kind of figure something out what kind of person this is.
So today is police body cam footage showing an encounter that Lansing police had with the suspected gunman from 2019.
7 investigator Heather Catallo joins us now with a look at what this video reveals. Heather.
We just got this video a short time ago. This is from the night Anthony McRae was arrested for a felony gun charge. And in this video, he admits he knew he shouldn't be carrying the gun outside of the home.
You got any weapons on you right now? Huh? You got any weapons on you or anything like that?
Yeah.
You have a weapon on you?
Yeah.
What do you have? 380?
And you can tell he does have a sense of honesty about him. They ask him, he broke down, yeah. You know what I mean? So these are clues to what kind of person you're dealing with. Asked him a question, he gave you an honest answer. Yes, I got him. Let's hear it. Let's continue to watch.
I'm just going to detain you for a second, okay? You put your cigarette out?
This body cam video shows a Lansing police officer questioning Anthony Dwayne McRae back in June of 2019. Police say McRae gunned down 8 Michigan State University students Monday night.
Do you have a concealed carry permit?
I'm working.
The officer arrested McRae after he admitted he was carrying a weapon without a concealed carry permit.
Motherfucker kind of look like Kenny Anderson. He used to play for the Boston Celtics. Unbelievable.
Down the street, man.
It's right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it your registered firearm?
Yeah, registered. Okay.
Once he's in the scout car, McRae reveals where he got the Ruger 380 gun.
Where'd you buy that?
The pawn shop right there.
Is that what you got at the pawn shop?
Yeah.
Okay. How long ago did you buy it?
I brought that at the end of March.
End of March? How much did you buy it for?
214.
You know you don't got a permit for it?
No, but I'm working on it. I was working on getting my
Did you know that you needed a permit to carry that 380?
Yeah, man. Yeah, but it's late. I'm going to the store.
Yeah.
And,
Why are you carrying it?
protection.
Protection?
Protection. I can get a pack of cigarettes, come here, smoke, turn my head. Bring my little gun with me. I know I'm supposed to.
The felony charge was later pleaded down to a misdemeanor.
As you can see his little body demeanor, you know, where he said yes, he got to have like a little twitch in him. Yeah, ain't no telling what happened to him as a child. We don't know what kind of doctors that he's been dealing with, what kind of medication they give. They give people experimental medications and say these medications is this, that, and third, and you find out later on that these medicines ain't no damn good. We see the commercials. Yeah, have you taken Xanax or whatever kind of medicine? Have you had your ear fall off and all that old shit? And yeah, you never know. But like I said, a lot of these people, man, are coerced some way, one or another, allegedly, into doing all type of certain things. Ain't this many mass shooters in the United States? There's no way you can convince me of that just by their own volition. No fucking way.
McRae was sentenced to 18 months probation for this case. It's not clear whether the gun seen here in this arrest is the same one that was used in the mass shooting. Brian and Glenda. And interest.
Yeah, he got a little twitch about him. But we got one last video we're going to go over. And we say, man who killed 3 at Michigan State had a note with possible motives.
Tonight we have new details about the weapons used during that mass shooting at Michigan State University. Police say the suspect had a history of mental health issues and possibly a grudge.
ABC's Melissa Adon brings us up to speed with the investigation as police try to piece together the gunman's motive.
Michigan State Police sharing new information as they search for a motive in Monday night's mass shooting. Police revealing that 43-year-old Anthony McRae had 2 9mm handguns and...
Well, we know it wasn't the 380 that they found when he got pulled over for. Or not pulled over, but I guess he was standing around. He was on his bike, and the police rolled up on him. He had a 380, so they said 2 9mm handguns. So we know these are 2 different guns.
8 loaded magazines, as well as loose rounds of ammunition on him when he was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
We have learned that they were purchased legally by the shooter, but they were not registered.
According to police, McRae had a 2-page note that listed threats against a dozen local businesses, including a church, a grocery store warehouse where McRae once worked, 2 schools in New Jersey, and Michigan State University.
In his wallet, he had a 2-page note, which kind of gave us kind of an idea what his motive was.
Police say he killed 3 students, junior Ariel Diamond Anderson, sophomore Brian Frazier, and junior Alexandria Verner. While the names of the 5 injured students have not been released, MSU head men's basketball coach says he paid 2 of the students a visit.
Let's figure out a way to change the world. Let's figure out a way to do a better job. And those of you that have kids, relatives.
And then I thought Michigan State is the same school that had the molester. I forgot that he was molesting all the gymnasts and all these people. I think he molested like 400 people, some ridiculous ass shit. It sure was Michigan State. Now that I'm looking at him, it dawned on me that they didn't had a bunch of trouble at this school. Yeah, they got a lot of bullshit going on at this school. This is ridiculous.
Let's figure out a way to keep their world safer than the one we've been in here in recent years.
On Wednesday night, thousands gathered for a memorial vigil in honor of the victims.
It makes you think like how grateful I am that I got made it out alive.
In 2019, police arrested McRae for felony gun possession. Those charges were later reduced to a misdemeanor, allowing him to legally purchase the 2 9mm handguns used in the mass shooting on Monday. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
I mean, you know, these type of things are going to continue to happen till they can make these gun laws so strict that you just can't get anything anymore. They're going to weed this shit out over time. They're going to wait till people like me die off. These gun owners die off and their children are fucked. Our kids, fucked. They'll never get the guns like we had these guns and the freedoms that we had to carry these guns and to legally purchase these guns and all this ammunition and all this shit. You'll never be able to do this. You know, I'm a legend that that a lot of these are staged. Not every mass shooting. This could have been a random act of violence. It really could have been, y'all. But goddamn, it just, how in the fuck do we get a mass shooter every week? And it's been crazy people in the United States since I was a kid. And what you saying is more crazy people? People saying there's more guns on the street? No, we've always had guns. We actually had less gun laws back then. The gun laws of today is far more strict than the gun laws was in the 90s. It was far easier to get a gun in the 90s. Especially in gun states. A lot of these states had open carry. Only over the past 15, 20 years had these laws begin to tighten and they begin to be stricter on some of these laws. Yeah, but this is, you know, it's one of those things, you know, real people have to die for them to actually get these guns off the street. So, like I said before, yeah, Charles Manson. That's a fact. CIA, he was a CIA psych op. Believe it or not. I know it sounds wild, but it's the truth. These people experiment on everyday human beings, man. And yeah, these people come out here. This used to just be a regular crazy guy back in the day. A little nuts, a little off. But nowhere near capable of going to shoot up a school. Now these same guys from when I was a kid, they going to shoot up everything all of a sudden. Is it a coincidence? Is it a monkey see, monkey do? I don't know. Do you? You a couch detective just like I am. We all try to figure shit out from the couch. But this has been another video of Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took your ass. Ain't no way in hell it's this many mass shooters in the USA ride. Peace.